Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Wright.
I'm Andrea Anderson. Renters of a collective set of properties continue to contact our First Alert investigators over what they believe to be unsafe living conditions.
Our First Alert investigator, Beth Warden, introducing us to a woman who moved back to Sioux Falls with the sole purpose of helping these tenants.
This woman has a lot of friends who live in Tzadik apartments. And if you're walking through the property, she'll be sure to ask what you're doing there.
I'm doing it in honor of my sister that passed away at one of their properties.
Woods was out of state when she watched our First Alert investigators' reports. Then she drove to Sioux Falls.
I had a meeting with the tenants, and I asked them if they wanted to take the property back, and they said yes. So that's what we've done. We've done a little bit, but we got a long ways to go yet.
Tenants invited us on the property today to show you what's going on at some of the Tzadik properties. Windows being broken in the middle of the night and transients making their way into empty apartments. Who knows what kind of activity is going on?
Your gangs, your drugs, your guns, alcoholics.
A tenant invites us into her building.
You can see we have all kinds of gang writing here. This has been kicked in several times.
And other items left behind.
So we know a transient's been in this room.
Water damage is evident.
Plumbing issues, electrical, hot water.
If there's a problem where you rent, the first step is to report it to the landlord. If it isn't repaired, the city of Sioux Falls accepts reports of possible code violations. Mayor Paulton Haken keeps his eye on Tzadik and owner Adam Hendry.
Unfortunately, we don't have to have ongoing check-ins with any other property owner in our community except for Tzadik. So if another owner was having these same challenges, we do the same.
What would it be like if transients were kept out and repairs made?
Drug-free, crime-free, everything.
In Sioux Falls, Beth Warden, Dakota News Now.
A spokesperson for the properties weighing in on the concern, saying through diligent coordination and ongoing communication, we strive to maintain the highest standards of safety and security within our community. The city's number to report a possible code violation, that is 605-978-6900.